Hello. So in setting up the project, this is second iteration. We follow the same app development process with iteration with the first step problem formulation. And what we need to formulate here is the scope of this iteration, and we need to set up the project, or we will call it here the development environment, and and source code repository. But I also want to set up launch screen and the app and configure the app. In the testing phase, my testing scenarios will mean that a local and remote source control repositories are set up. Testing scenario 2, that the app loads with launch screen, and I think that's all. So then we move to step number 2, which is the solution formulation. And in step 2, we have the model, and the data here in the launch screen. We need launch image. Perhaps even we need app icons. What other data? The credits. What credits do we want? Like credits, copyright information. Sometimes these are legal statements that you need to include. Like if you're using data from other sources and you need to give them credit, who are on your team that need to be acknowledged, if there are particular language that your organization need to include, if there are any disclaimers or anything like that. So you would want to gather all that text and figure out how you can display it and show it to the user. With respect to launch images and icons, we have used, we didn't do image icon before, but in the launch image, we have downloaded from the web. Just make sure that you have the right to use that image, or you can use any image manipulation tools to create your own images. I want to introduce you here to a website for the image icons. And this is called the flat icon. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that they have here how to credit authorship of the icon. So this is the one that I'm gonna use, and it tells you here who is the author, and it tells you here, if you follow this link, what you need to do is you need to write this something like that: icons made by, and then the author, and then from, and then the website. So if you use a website like flaticon.com or other websites, make sure that you understand the copyrights and what you need to do. There are also sizes for the icons, and we'll talk about that. So you want to make sure that you have the correct size. Some websites, they give you small sizes for free, but you have to purchase a subscription or per image if you want to go with the larger size, and so on and so forth. So that's for the model. For the view, I'm gonna work on the launch image. So text on the launch screen, we're gonna use the UI label, and then images, we'll use the UI image view. And we will need to add maybe one or more labels, and we'll add one UI image view. And we'll use the assets in the Xcode or the project asset to include those images or files. And then the controller, we're using the default controller behavior, so no custom controller. Then the solution implementation. So step number 1 is to set up Xcode, new project, using the single view controller template. and then set up the remote repository. Here in the university, we're going to use github.uc.edu. If you're using in public, there's github.com or bitbucket.com, and there are several others out there that you can use. I'm going to remove that because we're using this here in the university. Set up the remote repository and then set up the app, configure the app. Configure the app. This means that version, icons, and other things in the app configuration, and then set up the launch screen. And what I usually forget is to commit the changes. So let's go ahead and do that. So I opened up Xcode and it comes to the welcome screen. So we click on create a new Xcode project. And there are different templates for the different types of projects. We are iOS and we're going to use the single view application. And then you give the project a name. So you want to use your last name, underscore, and then the project name. So the project name, we're going to call it Unit Converter. The team for the project, so this will be if you are a member on the Apple developer team or just use your personal. The organization name, the identifier is important. If you're using the Apple developer account, if you're not using it or don't have intention to put it on the store, this organization identifier is not going to be important. We'll uncheck all the boxes we have here. The language is Swift and the device is iPhone, and then click next. We will save it locally. Do not save on an external drive. So I am for this class here. And then it will ask you, do you want to create a Git repository? Yes, we want to create a Git repository. So say create. And give you this view where it opens up directly to the configuration page, but you can always access it from the project navigator. This is the configuration page is the one with the blue icon and carries the project name. And there are different sections of that page. The general one is sufficient for us. Has the name, the identifier, the app version. So this is version 1, the build. If you want to sign in to create a profile, you will need that if you want to connect your phone to the computer and run the app on your phone. The deployment target is the version of the iOS on the device in which you want the app to run. So you can go earlier version or you can keep it as is. The device is iPhone. The main interface. What is the main screen? Which file has the first screen? So we have a storyboard file, and the configuration says when the app launches, go to that file, and in that file there will be an icon that points to the very first scene or the very first view or the screen, and that arrow is very critical because it tells the operating system which screen should be launched first. And this is this arrow here that I'm talking about. So if for whatever reason, and I have seen that in some people, you've done some changes and you no longer see an arrow, it means that you no longer have an initial screen. So when you select the controller in the attribute inspector, you see this under view controller is initial view controller. If you uncheck that, you see the arrow disappeared. So this means that it's an orphan controller and this app does not have an initial screen. But if that happens to you, all you need to do is to select the controller, go to the attribute inspector and make sure the initial view controller is checked, and that will give you back the arrow. So that tells the operating system how the app will launch, or what is the first thing that will drive the app, the main interface here. Then you have the app icons and you have the launch screen. And we have a launch screen storyboard. And here are the app icons. It's an asset in the in the project assets, which is this folder here in blue. You can also access it from this. If you go to the app icons, you see there are different sizes that the icons should be in. So for instance, here it says that the iPhone app for iOS 7 to 10, and the icon need to be at the size of 2 times the 60 or 3 times the 60. So this means it's 120 and 180. So I downloaded some apps, some icons I mean. So we'll try to find them here. And so I believe this was 250, so we'll put that in here. And then this one was 120 maybe, so we'll put that in here. And 60, maybe 60, that will put it here. It's a little bit bigger than the 60. And this one needs to be 90, so we'll put that in there. Actually, it's probably the opposite. I forgot what was the size of each one of them. Yeah, I think this is a 250. Yeah, that might be too big. So we'll put that. And then 40. 60, we'll put that here. 120, put that here. And it doesn't look like we have the correct, that I downloaded the correct sizes. So you get that icon here. It says that you have 256, but it should be 180. And you have 64. It's 64, but it should be 120. So my 3 is 64, so I should put it in the 60. Should be 58 and 58 and 512, but it should be 87. And so I am messed up a little bit with the sizes that I have here, and I have very large ones. The icon 8. So I have to, you can download the correct sizes. So I added some apps here, the icons that I downloaded. I got the warning that the sizes are not really what they should be. You can come back to the website, and here are the different sizes, but they don't match exactly what I have. So you can take it and manipulate it yourself, or you can go find some other ones. Then we go to the launch screen, and the launch screen also has the initial controller that is launched when the launch screen comes. I need to add a label. So I add 2 labels, one that has my information, and then another one that will have the credit for the app. So this first one here, we're gonna call this unit converter. And if you press Control Enter, you make a new line, and we'll put copyright 2017. Put whoever has the copyright, and I think that's all. You can change the color of it. I didn't change any colors. Maybe make it blue. The size is fine, and I use the 3 lines. So make sure that you make your label more than 3 lines, and give it the size. Maybe we can make it in the middle. Then I need another label to put the credit. What credits? I downloaded the app, and I need to give credit to the author of the icon. I mean the icons. So the credit, it says that I need to say that a specific language, icons made by, from this website. So I copy this and put that, oops, put that in the label. So icons made by, and then I need to get the author, and the author's name is here where I got the icon from. So I can copy that. And put that in here. And maybe change the size a little bit. And change the color. And it is cut off. You see here, when you see a label with those 3 dots, it means that your label is cut off. So you need to add more lines or resize so that you can display everything in your app, on your file. And maybe I can add something here that says credit. So here is the credits for the apps. And then I want to add an image. So to add an image, I need to add the image to the project first. So I have an image. So I can add here an image set and then add the image itself. I think that's the largest one I had. And then go back to the launch screen and get an image view. And then select my image from here. Oops. Let's see what happened. Yeah, that's the image. Maybe because I don't have the different sizes for the image. Should put the 1x. I'll put them the same. And then go back to the launch screen. So here is my image. I can give it a little bit of a size. And I can play with the background color as well. So maybe I can create this and see what background color can really work here. Actually, that will work. Yeah, several of them can work. Yeah, maybe not the reddish one. Yeah, I'll go with this one. So here is my project. Then I need to set up the, I think I set up the Xcode project. I didn't do the remote repository. I configured the app, launch screen. So I did everything except the remote repository. So to do the remote repository, I need to go to the web. So I have it here opened and say new repository. And I'm gonna type in the semester so that I know what it is. You don't have to do that yourself. Private repository, do not initialize it because we already have a repository initiated. And then just say create repository and copy the URL that you have here. So copy. And then go to source control in Xcode and go to the project master and go to configure. So in the configure there is remote, and then you add the plus, so it says add remote, give it a name, and then put the URL here, and then done. So we configured the remote repository, and what is left is to commit. I don't know if it still remember my username or password, so we'll try to see if it's yeah, I'll do that off the screen. So for now, just to commit locally. So we'll say that completed iteration 2 and set up the project, launch screen, app icons, and don't push for now. So commit.